Hello VC, welcome to another singles edition, this time rainbow singles. And I'm going to go through these in an order that I think that I have bought these. I don't really remember all of them, I remember a few of them. So mostly this is more of a guess than actual memory. But I do remember the very first one. I saw this as a shaped picture disc in a record store. That was the very first record store that I started buying records from. I had bought records before, but those I had bought from a department store type of store. So this was the very first actual record store that I started visiting. And they had this single on their wall as a shaped picture disc. And I tried to buy it from them 2 or 3 times because I thought it looked so cool, but they didn't sell it. And I was at the store at least a couple of times when somebody else tried to buy it too, but they didn't sell it. And when I found this 12-inch of Can't Let You Go, I thought that if I can get that shaped picture disc, I can get this one. And this one is backed with All Night Long and Stranded live versions, which I edited in such a way that there's no audience noise here. So that's why when I bought this, I was wondering that if they really are live versions, but they are live versions. I read somewhere fairly recently that these versions are today available as full-length versions, including the audience noise, but I don't remember if it was some bootleg or some official CD release. But yeah, this was the one that started me off on rainbow singles. And the first 7-inch that I got was I Surrender, Maybe Next Time. And I'm guessing that somebody actually gave me this single because, well, I don't have any real memory, but well, it's a feeling that I have that somebody gave it to me. And there's this thing that for some reason, sometimes small things bother me, and sometimes my records can be in fairly bad condition and it doesn't bother me. So with this one, which is actually in fairly good condition, there is a little bit of ring wear, but that doesn't bother me. What bothers me here is, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a 5 there, which is, I'm guessing, the price that this was sold at a second-hand store. So that bothered me for a long time. And it took me a long time until I finally found myself a pristine copy of it. And as you can tell, this one's got this glossy sleeve. This is a French pressing, and this one has got sort of a, can you hear the sound? Sort of textured cover. This is a German pressing. So yeah. Next one, LA Connection, Lady of the Lake, which was surprisingly easy to find back then because it already had been something like 7 years from the release of this single before I bought this. And considering that this was not a hit single, it was surprisingly easy to find back then because this was available in maybe 3 shops here, as was the next one. Can Happen Here, Jealous Lover. This was also available in 2 or 3 shops here, so this was easy to find back then also. Live, Kill the King, Man on a Silver Mountain, Mistreated. I remember when I found this, I was really surprised because it's a release from a live album, so I hadn't even thought that there would be a single released from this one. And this one actually has always appealed to my sense of humor, because this is a single with 3 songs, and it's taken from a double album which includes only 8 songs. So nearly half of the double album is on a single. Yeah. And the next one is a story that I have done to myself several times over the years, sometimes with singles, sometimes with albums. And it's that I go to a record store and I'm going through records there and I find something, and I don't necessarily decide to buy that item straight away and not necessarily even consider buying it. But some time goes by and I decide that, okay, I could buy that one. And I go back to that store and it's still there. So that gives me the feeling that the album or single is always available. So there's no need to rush to buy it now. And that's what happened with this one. Stone Cold Rock Fever. And I kept pushing it back because this one was available here in 2 or 3 stores with more than one copy, and I kept pushing it back and pushing it back until one day I realized that this was the only copy available anymore. I hadn't seen this for a while, and when I found this copy I had to buy this, even though this one is somewhat bad condition. There's kind of a lot of ring wear here, and on the backside there's even more ring wear. So that bothered me. I felt like I had acted stupidly not buying this when I found this in good condition. And yeah, that took me a really long time, and actually it is my most recent Rainbow purchase that I found a good copy. And I don't know if I had paid any attention to it with this bad copy or not, but something that looks like a smudge here is actually right, like superimposed here on the background is the eye from the cover of the Straight Between the Eyes album, and on the label of the album. So you probably can't see it, but it looks like a smudge here, but it's actually the eye. And the next one was Street of Dreams. Anybody there? Surprisingly difficult. When I bought this, this was the first time that I had ever seen this one, and I've seen this maybe twice since, and I bought this sometime during the 90s, I'm guessing. So considering that this was the last hit from the Rainbow, you would have guessed that this would have been more easily available, but yeah, this is surprisingly difficult to find. Next one, Since You've Been Gone, Bad Girl. And this one, for some reason, I had a memory for a very long time that I had bought this from Germany in 1992. But just for this video I checked it, and no, I didn't buy this from Germany, so I have no recollection where I bought this from. And the same thing goes for the next single, and that is All Night Long, Weisheim, a brilliant instrumental track. Yeah, I have no recollection where I got this one from, but what I do remember is that when I found the next one, there had been a really long time since I had last found something from Rainbow, and that is Long Live Rock and Roll, Sensitive to Light. I'm guessing that there had been at least a decade between this one and the previous single that I had found from Rainbow, so there had been like a really long time. I remember being really glad to find this one, especially with this cover, because I know that there is another cover version of this single. And next one, when I saw this at a record store, I was flicking through singles there, and I saw this. I was actually going to pass this one because I didn't realize straight away that this is a Rainbow single. That's because it's credited to Ritchie Blackmore, Man on a Silver Mountain, Snake Charmer. And I should have realized it straight away because obviously this picture is taken from the gatefold sleeve of the first album. And the next one is one that I have never seen before or since, and that is Starstruck, Run with the Wolf. German pressing, and what's interesting is that this one is credited to Blackmore's Rainbow, not Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, just Blackmore's Rainbow. Yeah. And the next one was the first of the 2 singles that I had to buy from eBay because I have never seen this one. I was slightly reluctant at buying this one because this one is a Japanese pressing, Death Alley Driver with Power, and I usually don't want any Japanese pressings singles, but since this one was not released in the UK or US, this was only available from Japan or from Holland, and finding a Holland pressing of this single, that's a fat chance. So I decided to buy this from Japanese pressing, and I bought this from eBay. And I have here a little note that I have held on to, because when I bought this from eBay, I bought this from UK, and when it came with this note, I found out that this seller was a Japanese guy who was living in London and who actually studied Finnish language. And that's why I've held this note, because that's how I found out that he was studying Finnish language. What are the chances for that? And the very last one could have been easy, because I saw this one when this was released, but I didn't buy this then, and I have never seen this since. And I actually bought this on a second try from eBay, because the first time I lost the bidding. And that is Bad Girl, backed with Man on a Silver Mountain and Spotlight Kid live versions. And this is taken from the final album. And what makes it this even more surprising is that on the inner sleeve there is a rainbow family tree, and on the other side there is a note from Roger Glover and pictures of all of the albums. Yeah, okay, that's it for this time. I'm actually having a week off now, so I'm fairly confident that I'll be able to make at least one other video this week. Thanks for watching. Bye.